Hello, Providence Intermediate Band students. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different for our video. We're going to be playing a duet out of a different book called Selected Duets, compiled by H. Foxman. Today's duet is available in the link below, or you can email me and I can send you a PDF. This duet is called March in G. So as you look at this week's selection, please try and not get too overwhelmed. I know that it is a little bit harder than anything we've played before out of our blue book perhaps, but it still is well within our reach, and this might become a 1 or 2 week project instead of being able to play it immediately with me. So our goal today is to kind of analyze the music a little bit so that when we go to play it, we have an idea of what it's going to sound like. We're not going to be super surprised by anything. And then I'll be playing both parts for you at our performance tempo, but I'll give you some practice tips along the way. So here we go. When we go to analyze this duet, let's try and do it one line at a time. So looking at the top line, we're looking for anything that's a little bit strange, any rhythms that may be unfamiliar. Nothing is really coming to mind until you get down to the third staff. In the third measure, you have some eighth notes with some eighth rests, so we haven't had previously in the music. That might throw us for a little bit of a loop. And that was repeated again in the fourth line. You may also notice that there is a bit of a roadmap here. So DC al fine, or DC al fermata. So we go from the very beginning all the way to the end, back to the beginning, da capo, the head, and the fine, the fermata, is at the end of the second line. Now looking at the second line, we'll see we have a little bit more rhythmic activity. We have eighth notes in the first measure instead of quarter notes, but we line up again with the first part in the second measure, third measure, and fourth measure. So part of playing a duet is being able to know when you are playing together. That's the hardest part. A duet, it becomes really difficult when you're never quite playing together, but both rhythmically and harmonically, you should be able to figure out whether or not you're in the right place. Now, looking at the second line, line B, but the third staff, we have some eighth notes in that measure, in those first two measures, while the top line just has half notes. Be aware of that when you go to play through it, both in the third line and the fourth line. And that same DC back to the beginning. As always, when we're learning something, we want to take it at a slower tempo. Our performance tempo for this piece will be quarter equals 100, but I ask you to start at around 70 to 80, whatever you feel comfortable with. The reason being is we make fewer mistakes when we learn it slow. And as we become more and more comfortable with the rhythm, the notes, etc., then we speed up the tempo little by little. Another practice tip for this piece in particular is to find the parts that you know give you some trouble. For me, I always have trouble with rhythm. So I will go ahead and pick out some dotted 8/16 note passages that might give me a run for my money, or if I get tripped up over accidentals, I'll look at the second line and see, oh my goodness, there's a couple accidentals here. There's a C sharp, got to make sure I play that. And run through that isolated before putting it back in together with the rest of the music. As always, we don't want to be starting at the top, going all the way to the bottom, back to the top, go to the fine every time we practice. That's not so much practice as it is playing. So we want to make sure that we're actually practicing, we're working on the things that we need to work on instead of just running through the music. When you're practicing this at home, listen to me play both lines first. Then you'll have an idea of what it sounds like. Attempt to practice, try to get it up to tempo. Then play it along with me, meaning you play line A, I play line A, I play line B, you play line B. And then once that's all figured out, I'll play line A, you play line B, and the other way around. So this is line A of March in G at quarter note equals 100. This is your performance tempo. One, two, one. And here's line B. 1, 2, 1.